Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. We are tracking two major stories tonight that we have been tracking since this weekend. The first is a quadruple homicide that happened in Kellogg, Idaho on Sunday. The second, a mass shooting at the Gorge Amphitheater campground. We received major updates in both cases within the last few hours tonight. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk joining us now with the latest from the Gorge, where we now know the names and conditions of the victims and the shooter. Kyle?
Well, Mark, we've also learned that the gunman was shot and taken into custody by an undercover Moses Lake detective working the event over the weekend. Tonight, we're also learning more about the two women killed and what may have led up to the shooting. Tonight, new details in the mass shooting at the Gorge Amphitheater, which left 2 dead and 2 injured. Authorities identifying the gunman as 26-year-old James Kelly, an active duty member of the U.S. Army based out of Joint Base Lewis McChord in Western Washington. Among the dead, 26-year-old Jocelyn Ruiz and her fiancee, 29-year-old Brandy Escamilla, both registered nurses in Seattle, according to a GoFundMe set up by the family, who say Ruiz had a kind soul and was willing to go out of her way to help anyone in need. Tonight, we're also hearing from a family attorney who says it's possible the two women were killed trying to help a domestic violence victim.
They did not know the suspect.
Authorities say the gunman was with a 20-year-old woman who was also shot and taken to the hospital. So was August Morningstar, a fourth victim in the shooting, who spoke with KREM from his hospital bed.
The guy hopped out and pointed his gun at me.
Morningstar was shot in the shoulder and ran for his life.
I gotta survive so I can see my daughters and my daughters can have a dad. I didn't want them not having a father.
Authorities say the suspect was shot by Moses Lake Police Detective Edgar Salzar, who was working undercover at the Beyond Wonderland Festival. Kelly was treated at Sacred Heart and is now in the Grant County Jail. Tonight, police also revealing that a crowd management services employee is lucky to be alive. Detectives say the 61-year-old woman working security rode up to the shooting on a UTV. The gunman fired a single shot which went through the windshield and struck the side of her face, shattering her glasses. That worker was treated for cuts and bruises at the scene. Kelly is scheduled to make his first court appearance tomorrow afternoon. We will have a crew in the courtroom and bring you all the details as we continue to follow this story. Mark?
Kyle, thank you very much. Now to the latest update out of Kellogg, Idaho. The man accused of shooting and killing 4 of his neighbors, including a juvenile, sits behind bars tonight after making his first court appearance today. And that's when prosecutors said 31-year-old Major John Kaler admitted to the killings. We also obtained the court documents from the case. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk spent time looking through those as well. He breaks them down tonight.
Just before 7:30 p.m. this Sunday, police in Kellogg received multiple reports of shots fired. Detectives were on scene within 4 minutes and found a family of 4 shot to death. Detectives say they were all shot in the head at close range. Outside the 2-story apartment, they found 31-year-old Major John Kaler. According to court docs, he told detectives he killed his 4 neighbors, including 18-year-old Devin Smith, who Kaler and his wife claim exposed himself through a window in front of their young daughters days before. Smith was killed along with his 16-year-old brother, mom, and grandfather. According to court documents, Kaler said he was upset the 2 adults didn't seem to take his concerns seriously when he confronted them. Kaler's wife told detectives she witnessed the teen expose himself on June 13th. Court docs show Kellogg police were called to the home to investigate. On the day of the shooting, Kaler's wife said she was standing near her husband and heard the gun go off, then saw the teen's mom and grandfather fall to the ground. They were found outside the apartment. Smith and his 16-year-old brother were found in different areas of the apartment. Court docs show police found blood and human tissue on the gun, consistent with a close-range shot. Kaler's wife told detectives he asked her to tell their children he protected them. She then overheard him talking on the phone, saying he had killed 4 people.
That was Kyle Simchuk reporting. We've been tracking both of these stories for several days now, but there are still more questions to be answered, so we will continue to bring you any developments as we learn them. In the meantime, for a look back at our coverage this week, just head to our website, that's KREM.com. New details tonight in the investigation into the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students last year. New court documents from the Latah County Prosecutor's Office show a discovery regarding Brian Koberger's DNA and a knife sheath found at the crime scene. Coming up in 10 minutes, KREM 2's Thea Skokin breaks down the newly unsealed motion. All right, in the meantime, let's talk weather. Tomorrow is the first official day of summer, but you really wouldn't know it from the weather we've been having lately. Let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy the Goo. And Jeremy, it's got to warm up at some point, right?
Eventually. That's what we all hope, at least.
Right.
All right, right now we sit at 53 degrees, and it is likely we dip back into the mid-40s again tonight. Not quite as chilly as the past few, but yeah, it's still going to be another cold one. That means it's going to be difficult to warm us up, especially with our overall atmospheric pattern still in place. But in the past few hours, notice things are starting to squish. This side of the jet's moving this way, this side of the jet's moving up. And what we're eventually going to get is everything kind of squeezing until it breaks down. Right now, we don't have much in the way of shower activity, and it kind of stays that way. Our best chance here in Spokane winds up kind of midday. Eventually, all those storms wind down, move out. I think we see a little bit of enhancement as that low moves overhead, but all in all, I don't think we get much. Most of it doesn't make it down to the I-90 corridor, so I'm going to call us mostly cloudy. Isolated storms as we kick off summer at 7:57 a.m. tomorrow morning. 77 on Thursday, 82 on Friday, and downright hot by the weekend.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. We'll check back in with you later in the broadcast. Now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. Just within the last few hours, the Coeur d'Alene City Council voted to extend their contract with Ironman. That means the half Ironman race will now stay in North Idaho for another 3 years. The current contract expires this year. Because Council is extending the contract, the price to sponsor the event for the North Idaho Sports Commission will go down. The course will remain the same for the next 3 years, but dates are tentative at this time. We are learning more about the Orofino father killed in an Alaskan plane crash over the weekend. Hunting and fishing guide 45-year-old Shane Reynolds died alongside famous bush pilot Jim Tweedo. Witnesses say the plane took off Friday night but didn't climb like it should have and then crashed about 35 miles northeast of a coastal village of Shaktoolik. Reynolds leaves behind a wife and a young daughter. A GoFundMe set up for the family has so far raised more than $100,000. You can find a link to that on our website. Just head to KREM.com. The Spokane County Medical Examiner has released the identity of the woman hit and killed on South Palouse Highway last week. 68-year-old Catherine Krogman was hit by a car when she tried to cross the highway. The driver involved in the crash stayed at the scene and cooperated with the investigation. Right now, authorities do not believe impairment or speed were factors in the collision. That driver is not expected to face any charges. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000, and we'll send them right to your phone. Well, tonight the U.S. Navy is bringing in special equipment that can retrieve heavy objects from deep under the ocean. In the event, they're able to locate a missing submersible. But officials say hope for finding survivors is fading.
You're dealing with a surface search and a subsurface search, and frankly, that makes it an incredibly complex operation. We know at this point we're approximately about 41 hours.
We are also learning new information tonight about the Ocean Gate expeditions. A group of leaders in the submersible industry sent the company a letter back in 2018 warning of possible catastrophic problems with its submersible and its planned mission to the Titanic wreckage. President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, has agreed to a plea deal with the Department of Justice, meaning he is pleading guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges and that he is willingly admitting to illegal possession of a gun while being a drug user. Republicans are strongly criticizing the deal, calling the DOJ biased.
If you were the president's leading political opponent, the DOJ tries to literally put you in jail and give you prison time. If you are the president's son, you get a sweetheart deal.
Hunter Biden is expected to receive probation for the tax charges. He'll have the gun charge removed after 2 years if he completes a diversion program. Well, a bill approved by the Oregon Senate promises to increase pay for public defenders. Oregon's public defense system is unique because it relies on contracted law firms and private defense attorneys. But those contracted workers are paid relatively low wages for such a heavy workload. Fewer and fewer attorneys are now willing to do it. Right now, there are about 200 people in county jails without an attorney, and hundreds of cases have been dismissed because there were no public defenders available. The bill now heads to the Oregon House. Meantime, a contagious cancer is spreading among some species of shellfish, and researchers working with the Squamish tribe here in Washington are working to fight it. They'll work for the next 5 years to collect and study samples to learn more about how cancers spread. The tribe has been working to restore populations after factors like pollution and temperatures cause them to decline. They also say seafood is still safe for humans to eat. The main priority is saving those declining species.